Welcome to the Deep Dive. I'm Mike.
And I'm Karen.
We take source material, could be anything really, and we dig in to find the key insights, the useful bits you can actually take away.
Yeah, cutting through the noise to see what matters and, how it all connects for you.
Exactly. And today we're tackling a really interesting source. It's a part of a blog post series called 50 Mistakes, Why Most Hotels Fail and How You Can Succeed. We're zooming in on just one specific part, mistake number 37.
And this one's particularly relevant, we think, especially if you're an Indian hotel owner. It's kind of directly addressed to that context, looking at common pitfalls.
Right. So our mission for this deep dive is pretty clear. We want to unpack why this source argues that overlooking sustainability is such a big deal, a major mistake.
Not just, bad for the planet, but actually bad for business.
Yeah, what can you, as a hotel owner, learn from this perspective?
And the source actually makes some, well, maybe surprising points about how going green isn't just some optional nice to have anymore. It's potentially key for attracting guests and even saving money, like right now.
Okay, so let's dig in. The source kicks off by talking about a shift, a fundamental change in what travelers want from a hotel stay.
Yeah, it's saying it's not just about a comfy bed and, decent service anymore.
There's something else they're looking for. The source uses the word conscience.
Conscience.
Oh,
It's a
yeah.
strong word. And according to the blog post, what that means is travelers, and it specifically calls out millennials and Gen Z.
The younger generations.
Exactly. They're actively looking for places that show they care. Care about the environment, sure, but also about the local community, about being responsible tourists.
Okay, so that's the shift. And the problem the source highlights.
Well, the problem is that many hotels are just not getting it, or maybe ignoring it, operating like nothing's changed.
Business as usual.
Pretty much. The source is quite blunt, actually. It says many hotels are still really wasteful. Too much water, energy use, mountains of plastic, food waste, often without thinking about it.
Right.
And crucially, even if a hotel is doing some good things, maybe some eco initiatives, they often don't talk about it. They don't show it off.
Ah, so the effort is invisible.
Kind of, yeah. And this is where the source says the real trouble starts. Because the blog argues guests do notice. They see the plastic bottles, maybe the lights left on, the lack of recycling. They feel that lack of care.
And they vote with their wallets.
That's the bottom line, according to the source. They choose to stay somewhere else.
Okay, so that leads straight into the negative consequences the source spells out for hotels that don't get on board with sustainability.
Yeah, the most obvious one is just losing guests. That whole segment of eco-conscious travelers, they're actively searching for green options. If you're not showing you care, you're basically invisible to them.
You're just not even in the running for their booking.
Exactly, and it's a growing group. Then, beyond just bookings, the source mentions missing out on, like, free publicity.
How so?
Well, think about travel blogs, media outlets, even social media influencers. They're increasingly looking for positive stories, for businesses doing good things. Sustainability is a hot topic.
Right, so you miss out on that potential positive exposure, that free PR.
Totally. And the source also specifically flags failing to attract international travelers.
Oh, interesting. Why them specifically?
The source sort of implies that while awareness is growing everywhere, international visitors are often perhaps a bit ahead of the curve or more vocal about seeking out sustainable options. So if you don't look green, you might be turning away that valuable international market.
Wow. So losing local eco-travelers, missing free press, and potentially alienating international guests, that's not great for revenue.
Not at all. And then there's the operational side. The source points to huge missed chances for cost savings.
Ah, the practical stuff.
Yeah, the blog specifically calls out power and water. Wasting these isn't just bad for the environment, it's literally money down the drain. Cutting back saves real cash.
That hits the bottom line directly. Every owner understands that.
Absolutely. And then, maybe the sharpest point the source makes, neglecting sustainability makes your hotel look, well, old-fashioned, irresponsible. Like a brand stuck in the past is the exact phrase used.
Oh, stuck in the past. That's a label nobody wants.
Definitely not. But the source doesn't just diagnose the problem, it gives a really good example of the solution working in practice. It tells the story about a resort in Wayanad.
Okay, a real-world case study. What did they do?
Well, according to the source, it was a series of relatively simple practical changes. For instance, they ditched the single-use plastic water bottles in the rooms.
Okay, what did they replace them with?
Refillable glass bottles. Much classier and obviously way less plastic waste. Guests see that immediately.
Makes sense. What else?
They started composting kitchen waste, tackling food waste, turning it into something useful. They put in some solar panels to help with energy costs.
Right, addressing energy.
And they set up a specific zero plastic zone for guests within the resort. A clear statement.
So they made their commitment really visible.
Exactly. And they didn't hide it. The source says they put a little eco-promise card in each room, just explaining what they were doing and why. Simple communication.
Okay, so they made these changes. They told people about it. What happened? What were the results, according to the source?
The results were actually pretty impressive. The source reports they got over 200 positive online reviews that specifically mentioned the hotel being eco-friendly.
Wow, over 200. Guests actually taking the time to write about the green aspects. That shows it resonated.
It really does. And apparently their bookings increased. The source notes a specific rise in foreign travelers, seemingly drawn by this sustainable approach.
So it attracted that international market we talked about.
Seems like it. And get this. They were featured in 3 different travel blogs. For free.
Free features. That's the positive PR effect right there. Incredible value.
Exactly. And maybe the most concrete result for the owner? The source claims they saved a significant amount annually. It mentions 1.2 lakh just from cutting down on plastic costs and their power bills.
1.2 lakh. Okay, that's real money. That proves the cost-saving point. It wasn't an expense, it was an investment that paid back.
Precisely. The why not story really hammers home that you don't necessarily need massive, complex projects. Simple, smart changes can yield tangible benefits.
And that story leads perfectly into the next section of the source, which is all about practical advice. How you can start small.
Yeah, it's like a checklist for getting started. Very actionable.
So what's on the list?
Okay, first up, water dispensers around the property provide reusable bottles. Get rid of the endless single-use plastics.
Makes sense. Easy win.
Use bulk dispensers for soaps, shampoos in the bathrooms. Ditch those tiny little plastic bottles that create so much waste.
Another visible change for guests, and less plastic.
Switch to energy-efficient LED bulbs everywhere. Consider solar lighting for pathways or gardens where it makes sense.
Standard energy saving. Good practice anyway.
Promote your towel and linen reuse program more effectively. You know, many hotels have the cards, but really encourage guests to participate.
Right. Make it easy and appealing.
Partner with local farms for your food supplies. Reduces food miles. Supports the community. Often gets you fresher produce. Win, win, win.
That's a great point about community connection, too.
Absolutely. And finally, put up some simple signs, just letting guests know about the efforts you're making, the composting, the solar, the water saving. Don't be shy about it.
Which brings us to the second key part of starting small, according to the source. You have to show it. It's not enough just to do it quietly.
Exactly. Visibility is key. The source gives concrete tips here too, like take photos of your green initiatives, the solar panels, the garden using compost, the glass water bottles, the local suppliers.
And share them where people will see them.
Yeah. Post them on social media. Update your Google business profile. That's crucial now. Put it prominently on your hotel website.
Make it part of your marketing.
Definitely. And the source suggests something cool. Shoot a short sustainability tour video. Show guests. Don't just tell them. Let them see the solar panels, the composting setup.
That's much more engaging. Builds trust.
Totally. The source really pushes this idea that showing you care builds that trust and transparency. It makes you stand out, especially to the travelers who are actively looking for this.
Okay, so pulling it all together, the source is painting a picture of significant missed opportunities if hotels ignore sustainability.
Yeah, you're missing out on that whole growing ecotourism market segment. You lose the chance to build real loyalty with guests whose values align with yours.
You miss the positive word of mouth, the free PR, like those blog features.
You miss genuine cost savings on things like energy and water, which impacts your profit directly. And you risk damaging your brand reputation, looking out of touch.
Which leads back to that powerful concluding statement from the source.
The one that says, being sustainable isn't costly. Not being sustainable is.
That really flips the script, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's not an expense, it's the lack of it that costs you.
Precisely. The source positions it as a trust builder, a cost cutter, and a brand booster. Hard to argue with wanting those things for your business.
And for you, the listener, especially if you're an Indian hotel owner, the source implies these lessons are directly applicable. Your market is evolving, guests are more aware.
Yeah, starting small, showing your efforts, This could be a real differentiator in a competitive landscape like India. It can cut costs, attract specific guest segments, and just build a better brand long term.
So we'll wrap up this deep dive by echoing the question the source itself poses directly to the hotel owner. To you. What are you doing to show you care about the planet?
And maybe one final thought to chew on, building on the source. Think beyond just today's bookings or this year's savings. Where are traveler values heading in the next 5–10 years? Is your hotel setting itself up now to be the kind of place the future traveler wants to stay? Or are you risking becoming that brand stuck in the past? Something to consider.
Absolutely. Well, that's our deep dive into this specific source on sustainability in hotels. Lots to think about there.
Definitely. Join us again next time as we take another deep dive into more source material.